to my mind, you were always a driver that you never tended towards oversteer and opposite lock. You were a driver that always looked very precise driving on the front end of the car. Is that something that you worked towards with setup with Peter Molloy?
Yes, I felt it was the best way to get around the different corners of any circuit, whether they were fast corners or not. For me at least, in my driving, to have it so that I could get that midpoint at the maximum speed, that midpoint of the car moving, I mean, in terms of too much oversteer or too little. But just to try and keep the balance so that you would be getting through a corner, whether it's a short corner or a long corner, not a fast one in other words, or a fast one, but just to try and get that balance so that you were just gliding with the car at maximum traction, but giving you and the car the best chance you would have of getting out of that corner. So that your average would be somewhere higher than a different approach. Now, it did mean that you were taking the risk that you could have any number of spins, but if you kept the balance right, you would be through the corner in the best way and out of it in the best way. So it was all about balance, and that varies with different cars, of course, and the way that they're set up. So my team was very good that way, particularly Peter Molloy, in just trying to help me achieve that balance.
You use the word balance a lot. As a child, were you very good at sport? Did you have an aptitude in which balance became one of the things at which you were very good?
No, in fact, I couldn't play sport at school because I had a lazy eye, and I had a patch over my good eye. So I had no sport at school because I wasn't allowed to play. And when I got into higher school, the only one that I could get into at Shaw in Sydney was in rowing. But I was too light for the particular position in a four that I could have got. So I had to go right through school without any sport, and I really missed that sport. And I guess that got carried through to me, with me I should say, through to a motorsport. There was a lot of competition in me that wanted to be unleashed. But I did understand that life was life, and you could easily lose it. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. My dad was, and is. Although he's not alive now, but he's still in my heart. So it was a matter of trying to get absolute maximum speed, but acknowledging that if you did it wrong, it could be the end of your life or somebody else. And that's not dramatising the issue, it's just the reality of motor racing, of course, and it's one of the wonderful things about motor racing. And I think for people, any drivers that can understand that, it helps them to work toward whatever that maximum is for them. It's a marriage definitely always with the car, and the car and the circuit, of course.
I may be wrong here, but it strikes me that you were very unusual in that a lot of people become racing drivers, don't have a lot of money and hope to get there on merit and then make it or don't make it. And then there are others who spend a lot of their life making money and then buy some nice cars and go racing. But you actually combined the two. You were very successful in business, and simultaneously you then took up your career as a racing driver whilst you were still building a property empire in Sydney. Was there a temptation not to risk all that money and go motor racing and buy a yacht instead?
No, never. Because they were both attachments. That's not really the right word, I don't think, but they were both components of my life that I wanted to try and give my very best to. And I knew in both cases, whether it was in motorsport for obvious reasons or in business, to get growth, to get the very best that you could, you had to give it everything you had. At the same time, if you went too far, you could end up, of course, very seriously damaged, either physically in the case of motor racing, and indeed somebody else as well, or financially. So both areas of my life in those two respects had to take into account balance, giving it the maximum that I could possibly give it in terms of effort and results, but just keep a constant process in the mind and the heart on knowing where the balance was. And once you went past the balance, you were in trouble, at least potentially.
It always seemed to me, as a flag marshal, as an enthusiast watching you race, as I was lucky enough to do, that you were not afraid to take the next big step with cars. And just as we got used to seeing you in a Lotus Elan, you'd go and get a Lotus 23, and then you'd get an Elfin 600 Repco quite quickly. And it was as if you were not afraid of the increase in power and pace. It was something that you wanted to have pretty quickly in a very short period of time as well. You went from a Jaguar E-Type to an Elfin 600 in a very short period of time.
Well, I was very fortunate, of course, to be able to do that. But that was an underpinning of my drive in the sport. And drive is probably the wrong word, but in my commitment to the sport, to just give it the very best that I could, as with any sportsman, of course, does that. But in motor racing, of course, it involves different things other than just pure effort or physical effort. And it comes back to really what we're talking about. You've got to have that ambition, you've got to have it burning within you to try and achieve the maximum. You've got to know at the same time that in doing that, if you don't do it properly and effectively and professionally, you're not only endangering your own life, but others as well. And it's somehow, I think, a balance between the love of what you're doing, and it is a love, there's no doubt about that, but at the same time, keeping in that part of your brain that has to stay alive to reality, the balance.
You bought the ex-Piers Courage McLaren M4A after the 68 Tasman series. How did that come about? Did you talk to Piers during that Tasman and arrange to buy it as he left Australia? Was that how it was?
I think that's the way it went, and beautiful.
Because he won at Longford in the wet. He just won with that race, and you loved that car.
Oh, it was a beautiful car, absolutely beautiful car.
But it also you also had your biggest accident in that car.
Yes, but I mean, these things happen.
And what was the cause of that accident, Neil? Into the kink at Lakeside.
It was. I'm only hesitating because we were never really able to prove it. I think it was a broken front suspension component that gave away, and in other words, it wouldn't allow me to get through the corner, so I paid the penalty. But there was very bad damage with the car, and for me for a little while. But so it was one instance where it just couldn't be found out. There was too much damage that you just couldn't tell. So, and of course, I had no memory of it at all because everything went out of my head with the bump that I took. So it had to remain a mystery for me and the team. We all represented that, all I should say regretted that. But you know, that's motor racing, and these things do happen. And I'm just unfortunate that it happened that way. And Peter Molloy was, of course, tremendously concerned, was the whole team for that. They felt terrible about it, and I tried to just say to them as I was improving that, we're in this together, we're a team, and we give it the best we can, and it's motor racing. It's dangerous, and sometimes you can pay a penalty.
You mentioned Peter Molloy. The preparation of your cars, the presentation of your cars was always immaculate. I guess, again, that was the team, but that was also part of Niel Allen's way of operating in everything you did.
Yes, that's true, because I couldn't see, as a team, us doing as well as we otherwise potentially could, unless the team was firstly properly run, and that came back to the number one man, and whoever was helping him, and Peter was absolutely brilliant in that area. But as well as that, it was a matter of making sure that there was an underpinning for them, not just in helping them to sustain their dedication to the cause, but in just having the help themselves when it's needed to be able to give their best. And sometimes, of course, that means that the driver's got to be ready to do a whole lot of things that he may not want to do. But that's a team, isn't it? It's all about being a team.
Niel, you had various colour schemes with your helmet and also with the cars. We had red and white. We had metallic silver with the E-Type, and we ended with dark metallic green with the M10B. And you didn't really ever seem to make a lot of effort to generate sponsorship either. Tell us about all that.
Well, with the colours, I'm not sure how those things happened, to be quite honest. Obviously, there was something behind it, but it's nothing that was ever really in my memory. Might have been different suggestions from the team, whatever. Colour's colour. But I think the underpinning, as with any sport, is that we were a team, and that was the thing that I appreciated so much. Although I had very long hours to work with my work, the workshop wasn't all that far away physically from my work, and that helped enormously because I could call in at any time. And when you've got, as with any sporting team, when you've got a team, particularly like the one that I had and was fortunate enough to have, it's marvellous stuff. So I was in, my office was only 10 minutes away, and I was in the workshop virtually every day. May not be for half an hour or something like that, but it brought me back to it all the time. And that was a big help to me. Was no doubt that was a big help to me. And I made sure, as best as I could, when I was with the boys, to not interfere with their own rhythm too, as they were, working whatever they had to do.
McLaren M10B was a classic racing car in so many ways. It was a wonderful car anyway. We saw the success that Peter Gethin, Frank Maddich, David Hobbs, so many drivers had with that car. What was yours like to drive? What are your memories of that M10B?
Oh, I loved it. I loved the power and the beautiful car. It had a point though where it would be very unkind, and I think that applies obviously to anything that you have in a racing machine. But beautiful car. Treated right, it would do things that would surprise you as the driver, frankly. But at the same time, to have respect, real respect as to where the limit was, because otherwise it had the potential, as any competition car does, to, of course, to do bad things to you.
Niel, finally, you raced enormously powerful big cars on circuits like Catalina Park with railway sleepers and on one side of you and a rock face on the other. And you drove around there, you raced there in a 5-litre CanAm car, effectively. Why?
That was very testing, and because you can't go around a circuit like Catalina, particularly in the sort of car I was in, and not understand that if you make a mistake, you're in very big trouble. but at the same time working very hard to get the limit for wherever that was to be for that car. So it was a constant process, and I'd be surprised if anybody would ever have said that they enjoyed Catalina for that reason. But nevertheless, it was a test, and it was a particular test, and you had to meet the test.